here's Brody Brazil.
Hey, welcome back to the channel and what is kind of the second in a tandem of videos about the future of the Oakland A's. People always ask me, well, why are you so optimistic about the A's staying in Oakland and getting a ballpark at Howard Terminal? I gave 7 reasons why I have those sentiments. But in fairness, I also need to spell out 5 reasons I've got for concern about the A's potentially relocating to Las Vegas. Now, these are just the first 5 things that kind of popped up into my head, but I went over it a second time, produced the elements for this video, and I thought, yeah, you know what? All of this really does make sense. And they are things that kind of concern me a little bit, being somebody who obviously wants the A's to stay in Oakland. In no particular order here, let's begin with the general silence from all parties and kind of the stall of what is perceived to be happening with the A's and the city of Oakland. Because all important parties, basically since October, since the end of last baseball season, between the A's, between the city of Oakland, a new mayor, there's been a lot of silence. Now, there have been comments. Rob Manfred, MLB commissioner, he may have been the person who has said the most in all of this, and he's thousands of miles away. He's never even in Oakland when he's commenting about Oakland. But I digress. It's not been a lot of back and forth, and to some degree, that's understandable. In fact, to a large degree, that's understandable. Some would say even refreshing. Less talk, more action, and as long as that's happening, everybody can deal with it. But maybe the extended silence and going from weeks to months to half a year since we've heard any real dialogue or back and forth or anything that matches from one side to the other. And there is maybe a concern that in terms of Oakland and the A's and the negotiation for a development agreement, maybe they've gotten as far as they can. Maybe they've stalled. Maybe they've reached a sticking point. Now, I know this video is about concern for the A's going to Las Vegas, but the first thing you have to realize is that if things were going well in Oakland, the option for Las Vegas would not even necessarily exist. So that's number one to declare here. Kind of the silence and the stall have, at least from a public perception standpoint, I don't think that has favored staying in Oakland in terms of this process. And yeah, that's my next point here is kind of momentum. It did feel like Oakland, as it relates to keeping the A's, had been on a roll from 2021 and 2022 with all of the votes from the city council in the summer of 2021 to the BCDC in 2022. Every little step to the certification of the EIR, every little step along the way felt like, another check mark on the resume, another something that moved this process forward. We really haven't had a bunch of significant steps. And like I said, not a lot of people talking about it. And the longer that this game and this window stays open for Las Vegas, it really is a sports analogy here. It's kind of like when you're the team with any kind of significant lead. Let's talk baseball. You're up by 3 runs. You're up by 3 runs in the first. Okay. Then in the second and then the third. But you don't add on any more runs. And all of a sudden the other team scores 1. Oh, it's 3-1. All right. Uh-oh, they get another one in the 7th. Now it's a 1-run game. Now you've got the slimmest of margins heading into the 8th inning. And that next run means we're all back tied again, and you're not certain to win anything anymore unless you keep scoring runs, unless you keep pace. So it is that sports analogy. I do feel like Oakland had a significant lead, a step ahead in this entire process and project. I don't know that over time, and as much time is allowed here for this to all go on, it's hard to maintain that lead when somebody is in your rearview mirror, and that somebody is Las Vegas. So look, public perception, I don't know that the public is voting on anything. The public does not have a hand in negotiations. The public does not have a hand in ultimate decisions here. But public perception, from a business standpoint and from a momentum standpoint, it is important. And I feel like that has kind of edged. The more you hear about Las Vegas and the less you hear about Oakland, it's kind of edged in Nevada's favor. Okay, then there's the Rio site, the Rio hotel site, west of I-15, kind of northern end of the proper strip. This is one of 3 sites that have been identified in Las Vegas. First one is the Tropicana site. You know where that's at, just a little bit west of the airport. Then there's the Festival Grounds, which is just north of Circus Circus. And then there's the Rio site, which, by the way, the company that owns the Rio, Dreamscape, they recently obtained $850 million to do something with the resort, to improve it, to overhaul it, whatever. The A's must know this. And you know what would be nice while you're building the new Rio Hotel and Resort is to also have somebody else put a new ballpark on your site and have that be an option and a draw and an amenity for the Rio Hotel. That would, talk about reinvigorating a property. Well, this place put a water slide. This place put what does New York have a roller coaster in it? Every hotel has its thing, right? Well, the Rio Hotel now has a major league ballpark. It's got a full stadium for $35,000. So it is a little bit interesting, some would say concerning. That site, it's not terrible. It's not on the Strip, but it's also not terribly far from it. You'd think there would be some way to access the Strip, whether it's an overpass, a Las Vegas gondola, something like that, a tunnel. I have no clue how they would get people from the Strip to the Rio site, but they'd figure out a way. It's far enough, but it's also close enough to make it, to give it that proximity to the Strip. So it's a pretty relevant site, and the owners have some money to do stuff with it, and they need something to sell it. So the Rio site, to a degree, the Tropicana is a way better location. It's on the Strip. It's next to things. It's right where people are at. But I don't know that one is as possible as the Rio. I also don't know that the festival grounds are really on the table or really prime in its geography. But here you go with the Rio site. It definitely concerns me. One of these 5 things that definitely has me thinking. How about just the Las Vegas way? The way they do things. And I recently read about this. I don't have any firsthand knowledge other than what I've observed, and I trust in reporting from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. F1, right? Formula One. They're coming to Las Vegas in November. The Grand Prix of Las Vegas. They needed initially $37 million. Then it turned out to be like $78 million or $80 million. Nobody even knows how much money, but they need that much money to improve the track, which they're going to run on at more than 200 miles an hour, which includes Las Vegas Boulevard. So they're redoing, restructuring, resurfacing. They're strengthening these normal city streets so that F1 can take place there on an annual basis. But F1 needs about $80 million to do all this work. Well, guess what? Construction for this project begins next week. But also, guess what? Nobody knows at this point who's paying for this or what the public contribution is even going to be. Imagine this. Like, here we are in California, where every dollar has to be tabulated, and we don't really start this project unless we know we can be responsible for it, and it's paid, and it comes from the right place. Meantime, in Las Vegas, they're like, well, we're just going to start the project on April 4th, and somebody might know who's paying for this, but the public doesn't. And they might be on the hook for $7, $78, $78,000, $7 million, or $78 million plus, or who knows? It might even cost $100 million. Nobody exactly knows. So my point in all of this is to say that, wow, if that's how they do everything down there, they'll say yes to a project before they can truly, properly commit to it. They'll just say yes and things will start. Obviously, like I said, that's one of my concerns. And then last here is the A's have aligned their business to have lobbyists in Nevada. And in the same way that, they pushed for things to happen in Oakland, they got, votes on the table with the city of Oakland. They got the BCDC to vote. They moved the project forward in Oakland and with Howard Terminal. They really did. And now they're taking a different group of people and they are lobbying in the state of Nevada. Now, the current legislative session, it ends in early June. And my point in sharing this is that they are finding out what options they'll have in Las Vegas. The county or the state, how much they can contribute of public money in Nevada or with the county down there, how much they can contribute to a new project like this. And they don't know, maybe necessarily right now, And the last they'll be able to find out is early June. Then the session is closed and then lobbying cannot take place. But my point is here, if you think, well, what are they doing or how much progress could they make? Like the A's very much made progress with the city of Oakland. And now they're trying to make that similar progress in Las Vegas. So don't discount what they're doing and how much they can get done and how much they can find out. How many answers they can have in their hands by June. So that's another, again, from the Oakland perspective, that is another concern. That is one of 5 reasons I have for concern about the A's potentially relocating. Now, like I said in the other video, I don't want to lead you on too much here. I don't want to scare you with this, just like I don't want to make promises with my optimism video. But I did want to spell out and give equal time to things that make me hopeful and things that make me concerned about the future of the A's as it relates to the city of Oakland. So, hey, I appreciate you for checking this out. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments section below. Also, thumbs up on this video since you lasted this long. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that I can see you next time.